What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Bradley Hill, and here is 3 guard passes every white belt should know. All right, guys. Our first guard pass is the Torreando. Now, there are a few different variations to the Torreando. I always tend to use a hip and knee control as opposed to more of a bullfighter control from here. So if you're long arms, you're 6 foot tall, and you've been blessed by God, then you probably want to start working some Torreandos off the trousers. If you're short and stocky like I am, then you're going hip and knee control. Boom. One of the easiest guard passes you'll set up and works in both grounded and a seated position. So I'm starting off with parallel legs. I'm approaching my partner's guard. One hand is going to block his hip. My elbow is raising to coordinate with his guard retention. So if he tries to pummel his leg towards the inside, I flare my elbow. If it remains the same and he tries to pummel, then he can circle the leg all the way through and begin recovering his guard. So we block, I coordinate the elbow with the knee line, and I pin this knee to the floor. I'm circling around, my heels are off the ground, there's a slight bend in my knees, and what I'm going to do from here is straighten out my partner's leg, so I'm pushing his leg straight and dropping my shoulder into Tyrone's stomach. Most important thing here is my knees stay off the ground, so I can really maximize the weight going through my partner, and then I return to the legs. This is what we call the checkpoint. So checkpoint, save the gain in this position, and then I can start moving up to the side control. We don't want to rush into your guard passes, so lock the hip under control. When he tries to bridge and move, I hold here at where all the point of all my partner's power is, at his hips. That's where his bridges. That's where his hip escape is. So if I put all my weight in this position, bridge, bridge, hip escape, hip escape. See? As soon as you hit your pass, drop and return to the hips. Oh. My knee is underneath the waistline. My elbow blocks the far hip, and then from here, now I can progress up the body. Shoulders, chest to chest, then head control. Guard pass number 2, the knee slice. This one is fairly aggressive. And at a lower level, we don't need to have sort of the perfect underhook and things like that. A lot of times you just have to throw yourself. So what I like to do in order to develop that motion of throwing yourself through the guard pass is to practice it from my partner sitting up. So we're going to start off in this position here. I'm going to lead with my leg, and Tyrone's going to sit up to grab onto it. You see? If I don't react, he can stand up and start working into his single legs. You see? So as soon as I see him start to come up, I'm going to underhook the shoulder and throw my hip onto the ground. So I'm slicing completely away from the person and trying to drop my hip to the mat. Once I get to that point, I control the bottom elbow. I always like to stay in this kesakatame position, so my toes are engaged into the ground. I'm driving my weight through my ribs, and I hold from here first. I don't like to go to my knees too soon. If I drop back to my knees and Tyrone starts hip escaping, he can start to recover his guard. So I always like to stay sat through to here, because now when he tries to move, I can hold, take the life out of him a little bit, and then switch back to my side control later. Now, this isn't always going to be able to replicate itself in sparring, but it is a very good way of practicing the technique to first understand how your body moves in the knee slice position. So if we are in a seated position, I'm gonna throw his legs up, grab his ankles, lift, he comes up into position. I'm immediately searching for that far armpit, and I'm knee slicing away. Throwing my hip onto the ground and hugging that shoulder. So I'm pulling Tyrone's shoulder towards me. I know for him to start to hip escape, his elbow needs to hit the mat. So I grab it, lift, make my shoulder, put my knee towards his shoulder and meet that position from there, and then I can control my partner for the knee slice. Nice and aggressive, flying knee slice. Technique number 3. Now we're working our leg drag. This is probably the most technical of the guard passes, especially for a white belt. One thing we need to work on is, first of all, aligning the hips. The leg drag is really good at moving your partner's hips away from you. Now, one of the biggest things is stepping in to the hip line. If we again adopt the principles from the Torreando and the checkpoint position, I have to follow back to my partner's hips. The first thing I'm doing from here, I catch his ankle, I'm throwing that across my body, supporting it with the second hand, and stepping in. Now I have control over his hips. His hips are pointed in this direction, so if he were to turn, it would be towards the turtle position, giving his back, exposing for my attacks. As soon as I swallow up this knee line, I'm gonna drop my knee on the ground, over the top of his legs. So I create a nice little sandwich, bread, leg, nice leg sandwich there. Catch his collar, close the space from this point, and then all I gotta do is drop my head down next to Tyrone, controlling his waist. Oh. I walk around nice and tight. I've got a collar grip, I've got a belt grip, pinning his hips to the floor, stopping him from spinning away from me. Because a lot of times he's gonna try and turn to turtle from here. So this cross collar grip is preventing him. The belt grip is sticking him to the floor. And now I can start switching to my head control and advancing into a nice tight side control from there. So I have his ankles under control. I'm aligning his feet to pass my guard, to pass his guard already. I'm supporting that alignment, pulling it across my body. Now don't try to step around the legs. I need to save the game. Checkpoint. Knee comes down, make that sandwich, close into position, head down next to your partners, advance to side control. Sandwich, collar, pass. And there we have the 3 essential guard passes every white belt should know. Get back in the gym, drill your Torreandos, your knee slices, and your leg drags, and you can thank me later. Hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. If it has, click the subscribe button and stay tuned for more techniques. Like the video, drop a comment down below for any techniques you want to see next. Otherwise, have a good week, guys. Enjoy your training, and I look forward to seeing you next week for some more techers.